Welcome once again to Commander by Nanan. Today's video was brought to us by Patreon supporter Tiz. Huge thanks to Tiz and the rest of my Patreon supporters. Tiz reached out asking for a deck led by Gallia of the Endless Dance, and I was more than happy to build it for them. Also, and I know it's annoying to keep hearing this, but statistically if I don't ask you to like and subscribe, the video gets fewer subscribers. Gallia of the Endless Dance is a 2-mana 2/2 legendary satyr with haste. She gives other satyrs we control +1/+1 and haste. Additionally, whenever we attack with 3 or more creatures, we may discard a card at random. If we do, we draw 2 cards. Gallia is just a girl trying to have a good time. And if a few guests have to drop out from the party, that's fine. There are always more wanting to join us in the dance. Now, most of Tiz's decks are bracket 2 or 3, but for this one they wanted something a bit different. Something strong and ruthless. So they asked for a bracket 4 deck with a budget of under $1,000. They also asked that the theme be something relentless, like a party that won't stop. So I kept that in mind with some of my card choices. This is bracket 4 after all, so power is more important than theme, but I did have a few fun additions. Also, I was able to keep it closer to $750, which I know is out of bounds for many of you, but don't worry. Most of that budget is in the lands. So if you want to build this deck, just substitute the more expensive lands for cheaper ones and you'll be fine. But before we get to our deck list, a quick word from our sponsor, Ultimate Guard. If you're planning on building a bunch of decks led by the spaced out commanders from the Edge of Eternities, you should probably pick up this limited edition collector case, designed to look like the shuttlecraft Yosemite. Capable of holding 8 boulders, it is the perfect way to store your science fiction themed commander decks. Pick yours up today at your local game store, or order them online from Amazon. Click the link down below to go to Ultimate Guard's Amazon store. In order to build a functional commander deck, you need lots of different pieces, which is why I try to rely on my handy-dandy checklist. 50 mana sources, usually split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp, 10 pieces of card advantage, 8 to 10 pieces of spot removal, 2 to 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, and 1 sudden I win card. Oh, one more quick announcement before we get started. I'm currently streaming over on Gaming with Dane as well as Twitch. It'll mostly be Final Fantasy XIV, but you're more than welcome to pop in and talk about Commander. Honestly, about half my streams are talking about manga, anime, or Commander. For lands, we've got Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, and Ancient Tomb to start us off. The first 2 shouldn't need an explanation, but Ancient Tomb probably does for new players. Most bracket 4 games rarely last past turn 6. So if you play Ancient Tomb on turn 1 and tap it every single turn, you will only deal 12 damage to yourself. 12 damage is a small price to pay for the amount of extra mana this card will give you. Next up, we have our fetches in Wooded Foothills, Bloodstained Mire, Windswept Heath, Scalding Tarn, and Misty Rainforest. Remember, dear viewer, that lands are colorless and only have a color identity if they have a color pip printed on them. Just the word island doesn't make Scalding Tarn blue. Otherwise, creatures with protection from blue would have blue included in their color identity. Now, we need something for our fetch lands to find other than basics, so we've got Stomping Ground, Commercial District, Highland Forest, Wooded Ridgeline, and Sheltered Thicket. Yes, we have some tap lands in our deck, what of it? Turn 1, if you don't have anything to cast, go ahead and fetch out a Wooded Ridgeline. No loss of tempo. Save finding a Stomping Ground till later. Next up, we've got Spire Garden, Rockfall Vale, Rootbound Crag, and Cinderglade. All of these are lands that usually come into play untapped, but may have restrictions or drawbacks. They are all worth running, and most of them are fairly budget, especially compared to shocks and fetches. Gruul Turf is another card I don't mind defending, even outside of landfall decks. Here is my argument for bounce lands. Imagine WotC printed a mana rock that costs 1 mana, comes into play tapped, and taps for 2 specific mana colors. You would run that card in just about every 2 or 3 color commander deck you have. The only difference is Gruul Turf is a land, and land removal isn't as common as artifact removal. For utility lands, we've got Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth, Boseiji, Who Endures, Scavenger Grounds, and Field of the Dead. Yes, you heard me right. Field of the Dead. Wait a minute, Danon, you included Field of the Dead in a Gruul deck based around an Endless Party? Of course I did, dear viewer. Haven't you seen Thriller? Finally, for basics, we're running 6 mountains and 9 forests. 2 things I wanted to note about basics in this deck. First of all, we're in bracket 4, so mass land hate is a thing. Got a plan for opponents running Blood Moons and back to basics. Next up, even though we've got a roughly even color split between red and green, I tend to favor forests in all of my decks that include green. This is because most of our ramp is green and can help us find our other colors. I do this with most of my decks, but I wasn't sure if I'd mentioned why before. Having a few more forests than mountains isn't a huge edge, but it can make a difference. To start off our mana ramp, we've got Soul Ring and Arcane Signet as mana rocks. Both of these are too good to leave out of a deck, even a green one. Next up, we've got Delighted Halfling and Ruby Daring Tracker as mana dorks who do more than just add mana, which I like. Satyr Hedonist is both thematic and a ritual on a stick, while Goblet and Archimancer helps us with cost reduction on almost all of our spells. For land ramp, we're running 3 visits, Rampant Growth, Farseek, Nature's Lore, Sword of Hearth and Home, and Crop Rotation. Gotta find Field of the Dead somehow. For bursts of mana, we've got Xenagos the Reveler, who is a beast in this deck. Finally, our combo enablers consist of Grand Warlord Rada, Bear Umbra, Sword of Feast and Famine, and Druid's Repository. Wait, Danon, what combos are you talking about? Don't worry, dear viewer, I'll explain before the end of the video. Next up, let's talk about card advantage. Satyr Wayfinder, Return of the Wild Speaker, and Jeska's Will all provide a burst of card advantage, while Totsuki, Bearer of Secrets, Orin Frostfang, and the One Ring give us more consistent card draw. Next up, Underworld Breach, Eternal Witness, Timeless Witness, and Loamcrafter Fawn all help with graveyard recursion. Remember, Gallia makes us discard a card at random, so sometimes we'll want it back. For tutors, we've got Worldly Tutor and Signal the Clans. Yes, tutors are a form of card advantage, especially when we search for win conditions. Our interaction and spot removal package consists of Reckless Reveler, Heroic Intervention, Beast Within, Abrade, Return to Nature, Deflecting Swat, Wild Celebrants, Chaos Warp, Destructive Revelry, Gruul Charm, Rapid Vigor, Artifact Mutation, Atarka's Command, and Nature's Claim. Lots of ways to remove a variety of annoying permanents, which is just what you want. For board wipes, we've got Blasphemous Act and Delayed Blast Fireball. One, a staple that helps to reset everything, the other a one-sided wipe that can clear a path for us to win the game. The core of our deck consists of Anax Hardened in the Forge, Loyal Apprentice, Gruff Triplets, Heroes of the Revel, Nyxborn Rollicker, Satyr Nyxsmith, Tarian Mauler, Grumgully the Generous, and Xenagos God of Revels. I'm sure you've noticed how many token generators we have in the deck. Because of that, we're running Doubling Season, Parallel Lives, and Primal Vigor. Also, since we're a go-wide deck, we've got Beastmaster Ascension, Rhythm of the Wild, and Dolmen Gate. Finally, to help close out games, we're running Aggravated Assault and Hellkite Charger. I'm sure many of you saw those coming. Now that we have our deck list, let's compare it to our checklist. 54 mana sources, but between 37 lands and 17 pieces of ramp. Hi, I know, but 4 of our ramp pieces are win cons, so it's fine. 12 pieces of card advantage, 14 pieces of interaction, 2 board wipes, 1 piece of graveyard hate in scavenger grounds, 2 sudden I win cards in aggravated assault and Hellkite Charger. We have 2 cards that can give us infinite combat steps so long as we have enough mana to do so, which is why we're running Druid's Repository and the rest of those cards. Without them, we could get 1 or 2 extra combats a turn, but with them, we go infinite. Send our huge army of tokens at an opponent and invite them to dance. What fun! Do you have a Gallia of the Endless Dance commander deck? How did you build the deck? Leave a comment below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cute Stuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, she can be reached at cutestuff.edits at gmail.com. Link is down below. If you're looking for ways to support the channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Danon. You can have a video made or just ask for help building or tuning a deck list. I also want to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons: Waffles, Jiraiya, Muffins, Marcus, Brett, Roxy, Alix, Borgie, Conga, Robert, Pye, Kazaris, Patrick, Tiz, Art, Richard Sint, Boomy, Oscar, Justin, Golden Walker, Captain Hammer, Yori, Sleech, Zach, Mr. Salty, and Hua. You guys are awesome. I post new Commander Deck videos every weekday, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of new videos. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Commander by Danon.